Welcome to Family Gamer TV. We've just heard about the new Skylanders game. It's going to be called Skylanders Swap Force. Now, there's lots to say about this. At the pre-New York Toy Fair, we got our limited edition Chop Chop, which we can open later. But Swap Force is the third game in the Skylanders series, and the big innovation here are a new set of 16 Skylander figures called the Swap Force figures. Now, their tops and their bottoms can be interchangeable, so they come apart, they have magnets in the middle, and you can then choose which top and which bottom you want out of your collection. So each of these Skylanders Swap Force figures have a double name, so maybe Magna Force or Washbuckler, and that the name indicates what the top half and the bottom half can do. Now, by switching them around, you essentially create your own Skylanders. So to mix up those, you maybe would end up with the top from Magna Force, Magna, and then the bottom from Washbuckler. So you have Magna Buckler. So that in that way, they're actually letting us as players design our own Skylanders. Now, the first of these Swap Force Skylanders is Magne Charge. Now, he has a big magnet on his top half, and he can grab enemies, attract them in, and then throw them out, as well as objects in the game. He has a Gatling gun, and he also has a power wheel, so his bottom half represents a speed increase as well. So Washbuckler is a pirate octopus. Now, his top half, he has a tentacle attack. He can throw out bubbles to catch enemies in, and he also has a cutlass. And his bottom half, he has tentacles, so he can climb really well. And finally, Blast Zone, which is a fire Swap Force Skylander, has rockets on his top half, and also has a rocket propulsion on his bottom half. So again, it's quite a fast character. Now, each of the 16 Swap Force characters have a particular base. Now, that base represents a set of mini-games, a set of separate side quests in Skylanders Swap Force Adventure. And if you're playing with one of those bases, you can then access those areas, a little bit like the elemental zones, but different. And in those areas, you'll be using the particular ability represented by the base of that Swap Force Skylander to maybe fly or to climb or to be shooting, to complete those mini-games. Now, to be able to use these new Skylanders, there is a slight downside here. The new game is going to require us all to buy a new portal. So unlike Giants, which you could reuse the portal from the original game, buy a portal owner's pack and save a bit of money, Skylanders Swap Force will only come as a starter pack, which will include the new portal that supports the new figures, but it will also support all the existing Skylanders. So any Skylanders from Spyro's Adventure, any Skylanders from Giants, you can bring those into the game, and they'll work just fine. Now, as well as those Swap Force characters, there are also 8 new Light Core Skylanders, and they'll be picking those from the existing characters and potentially from some of the new ones that come in Swap Force. And there'll also be some Series 3 Skylanders. They'll go back, like they did for Series 2, to the existing characters, pick out the favourites, pick out the ones which they think warrant being re-released, being reposed as a new toy figure, and then they'll be available in Series 3 form. Now, this means that they'll get those ability to switch upgrade paths, like the Series 2 characters, and they'll also have a higher level cap, but also that wow pow. And it sounds like that the wow pow for the Series 3 characters in Swap Force will be different to the wow pow that was in Giants. So you could really imagine having quite a large collection of some of these characters. So Stealth Elf, that existed in the first game, and then in Series 2, and then it's going to be released as a Series 3 character. You could have a little army of Stealth Elves. Now, this year in Swap Force, we're getting 16 brand new normal-sized Skylanders. So, unlike Giants, where we only saw 8 more of the original figures, this time we're going to have 16 completely new. Now, we saw 2 of these at our New York preview event, and the first of which is an undead character, Roller Brawl. Now, she rides around on roller blades. Has an attack with those blades on her feet. Also has a claw attack. It's quite a nice undead. The way she moved and the way she attacked enemies reminded me quite a bit of Hex. The other character we saw was Countdown. Now, this is a smaller Skylander, and he has a bomb for a head, which he can actually take off and throw at enemies, which then explodes. He also has other missile attacks, and is relatively sort of slow around the arena. Now, it'll be interesting to see how they create these new Skylanders for each of the elements, and of course you'll be getting 2 for each element this time. And you'll be able to identify all of these Skylanders at retail, not only by the fact they'll be under the Skylanders Swap Force packaging, but also once they're out of the packaging, they're going to have a blue base. So whereas Skylanders Spyro's Adventure, the characters had a green base underneath them. In Giants, obviously, they had the orange base. In Swap Force, there's a sort of a blue aquamarine coloured base. Now, the game this year isn't being developed by Toys for Bob, but by Vicarious Visions. Now, I had a talk to the developers, and it was interesting to hear that they had a hand in developing the engine that's been used for Skylanders. And it seems like the visuals and the sort of the quality and the resolution of the game this year has been upped, particularly on the 360 and the PlayStation versions. It'll be interesting to see whether they can match that on the Wii, because with those platforms really upping the ante in terms of graphics and visuals and sound, I think it could be that the Wii version will suffer a little bit. Again, we're going to be seeing shared screen cooperative play, not matching Disney Infinity, who have gone for a split screen and also online 4-player play as well. So it seems like Activision may be doing what they have done with Treyarch and Infinity Ward, so having an alternate years in terms of developers. So this year we're seeing Vicarious Visions, and I suspect Toys for Bob may well be working on a version of Skylanders that will be coming out on the next generation, PlayStation 4 and the next Xbox. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. But by doing that, I think you're able to see that there's more time for them to spend on developing these characters. We've got 16 new core Skylanders, 16 of those Swap Force characters, not to mention the re-released figures. And there's a big investment in both creativity, in studio time, not just on the figures, but on the game itself. So by having this sort of split team approach to the game, I think we'll be seeing more content be forthcoming. The game itself, I think it definitely felt more polished. I think the Swap Force characters add a lot more creative play, and also away from the game, because you can swap the torso and the bodies, and because you can twist them round, they become semi-articulated. Now, although the arms and the legs themselves don't actually move like an action figure might, I think for kids there'll still be a lot more enjoyable ways to play and to use those figures in sort of imaginative play on the living room carpet as well as in the game. So there you go, there's a lot of information there about Skylanders Swap Force. We'll be having more hands-on time with the game, and we'll be coming back to you with more information on it and more videos on Family Gamer TV soon.